Welcome to EFAP 327 Superchat Catchup
yeah.
EFAP Mini. This was when we were talking about the MCU, DC, and Star Wars. We had some articles to read, some information to talk about, and we basically learned, thematically speaking, that all three are complete disasters. But we already knew that, but
Yeah.
lots
that
of new
was
information
not
about
Allegedly.
management. Kind of fascinating how linked all three of them are right now as franchises. Just in a sense, you could say DC's been promoted to reach that in the sense because they've been trailing for so long.
They have, but now I guess the thing is who knows. But hey, by the time that you're seeing this, we might know the answer to that.
Well,
to how well it's gone for DC.
Yeah, it's not DC going up. It's the MCU and Star Wars both fell into the cellar where DC has been comfortably living for like.
They got to the cellar, broke through the floor like a John Wick cache, and then dug deeper and deeper.
But now the thing is that DC can at least present itself as a clean break, which it kind of is. The fact that it's not a full reboot is kind of hilarious, but it is more of a clean break than I think we'll be able to see. Like with Star Wars, I don't even know what the fuck that would mean. I don't know that they're ever going to decanonize anything that they've made. And obviously with Marvel, who knows what it would mean to try and like reset that if that's something that they want to do. So yeah, DC is in a better position than the rest, but I mean, we could find out that isn't fucking true by the time that you're watching this, viewer, depending on how well Superman does.
It's like the fucking definition of insanity over there at DCEU. They have look at what's happening with the MCU and with all look at what's happening, and you're just doing it. Jesus Christ.
It's so funny if there's like several failures from James Gunn's and it crashes and then they're like, we need a new person. I could just picture the team, so to speak, or the boardroom just feeling so exhausted, like, who this time? Yeah. And then they bring a guy and they're like, can you make good things? And they're just like, yes. You're like, can you though?
I guess something that will help though is if the casting choices prove to be like better. Because DC, in the sense that Marvel never really has had a problem with casting, not really. They're generally good. Generally, they're good actors. Sometimes they're great. Meanwhile, with DC, it's been pretty fucking rough in terms of like the cast, not just in terms of acting ability, but also getting into trouble. It's kind of crazy to think. Henry Cavill, obviously, he didn't really. I don't know why I said it like that. Henry Cavill, he was fine in terms of like not getting into trouble or anything and being good for the role. Ben Affleck was controversial, but kind of proved it. Yeah, exactly. And Ben Affleck is kind of like he kind of proved to people like, oh, he can do it. Gal Gadot is obviously terrible as an actress.
It wasn't obvious at the time. Like, you say obvious, but
I know, but at the time people
fought for a long time.
And then Jason Momoa is more like, I don't know, he's like a Dwayne Johnson kind of like character of like he's not like an actor really, like in terms of like being serious about it. Obviously for the Flash, catastrophe. And Ray Fisher was a little bit not helpful, I suppose, from their perspective in terms of trying to get their movies to make money. Amber Heard, it's like compared to it's like, oh, who Marvel got? Oh, Robert Downey Jr., Benedict Cumberbatch, Chris.
That's DC's strategy. If things don't work out, they'll just be like, well, we'll hire Robert Downey Jr. to be in the DCEU.
We'll pay him $100 million. He could play. Who would he play? Who would they get him to play?
Reed Richards?
What?
Or the Mr. Fantastic, right? He could play Mr.
Marvel.
Fantastic.
That's Marvel.
Oh shit, you're right. Fuck. He would make a good Mr. Fantastic though. But
I was thinking like,
DC
fuck, who would I want to? If I wasn't memeing, if I wasn't taking the piss, who would I actually want him to play? If it was a DC character. Trying to think.
What about he'd make a good Alfred.
I don't know about that.
I guess I'm what I'm trying to think about is age and like temperament. I'm not sure. I wonder if he wouldn't have made a bad Hal Jordan. actually.
Who is
I'm
Hal
not sure.
Jordan? That's
Green
Commissioner
Lantern.
Gordon.
Oh, you
Green
know what?
Lantern.
Two-Face.
Harvey Dent.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
I feel like that
That
gives
could
him
be
a
cool.
chance at doing something a bit wacky too.
That could be cool, actually. Yeah.
And then the meta of him being like Two-Face with him being in the
Oh, but yeah,
MCU and the
different. Yeah,
DC.
yeah.
He's like
That's fun.
Workable.
he
That's
has
fun.
he has half an Iron Man suit like on one side.
Jarvis! Like, that's what he yells out instead of Rachel.
Rachel! Gollum killed Platoon, apparently. Gollum's taken many victims.
Yeah. The locking of balls is that can be a difficult and painful
I keep being told that I
experience.
have so much to look forward to.
You do. Well, you did, because you finished with it now.
Oh, is Lockballs passed?
Yes.
Oh, I must have been not lucid enough to
No,
notice.
He's not.
No, I'm joking. Do you get my
Oh, yeah.
wait? Are you memeing or wait? My joke will be done by then.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You'll
you
be
meant.
done by now when everybody here is listening to this.
Oh
catch-up.
yeah, boy, it sure. I enjoyed the lock
Yeah, that
balls.
locked balls. That was some good
Oh
shit.
man, that was oh boy. I can't wait to do it again.
All right. Paul Platoon lasted only 2 EFAPs before the weight of playing Gollum crushed his spirit and caused him to resign. Yeah, well, you know, he I think he was like half an hour he arrives, but it's like people assume Gollum killed him. Gollum would never kill Platoon. They're allies, okay?
Gollum would never win that argument.
No, he would not. Sashiel from NGE looks like Fringy. Also watch NGE. What is NGE?
What from what?
I don't know. NGE. What would that stand for?
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh, that's probably it. Yeah. All right. So who's
All right.
this?
So what am I?
No,
Yeah. What am I looking
the
at then?
face looks vaguely fringy-like in its shape. The rest of it, not at all in any way.
This is 100% Fringy.
Well, I mean, he's
I
got
like
a plague
him, though.
doctory look. I like him too.
I like him
I do
too.
like
I
him.
like him.
But I would say that there has to be more to it than, you know, because there's plenty of plague doctors and plague doctor looking characters in all of, you know, media. It feels like it's got to be. But I mean, I think he's neat. I mean, obviously, believe it or not, I'm a big fan of the plague doctor sort of aesthetic. If you can believe that, I think it's the coolest shit. Like it's so fucking cool. And it's just crazy to think about, like, why it even emerged in the first place. It's like, oh, you're a doctor? Why you got a beak? It's like, well, I put my herbs in there to protect me.
That's a very boogie thing to say. He's like, well, you know what? Yeah, the plague was bad, but we did get something good out of it. We got those cool bird people. That was really neat.
Why the fuck did he say what he said? What was he thinking?
Because he wasn't.
No, $3? That's a lot of money for a person of color, is it not? I don't know.
I don't know. Let me fiddle nervously with this Beyblade or whatever the fuck I have in my hands.
You believe in nothing. Nothing.
Just greatest moments, you know. Hey, you massives. Can't stay to watch, but I have to ask y'all to check the trailer for In the Lost Lands, a Paul W.S. Anderson movie. Need I say more? I think
you don't need to say anymore.
We'll be covering it at some point, if that's the one I think it is.
It's the
yeah, Dave Bautista.
It's got Dave Bautista, yeah.
Yeah, that
and
movie.
Mila Jovovich.
Listen, I'm all up for Paul W.S. Anderson memes. He's quite the movie maker.
He's never disappointed. Even the worst of the Resident Evil movies had things to laugh at, and it was.
That's true, but he did disappoint us with that last outing. We were expecting
Monster
a little
Hunter?
more. No, we didn't see that.
Oh, that's right. Three Musketeers.
I'm talking about Resident Evil, but
the last Resident Evil movie, right?
The final chapter.
Yeah,
which I've not seen.
The previous film promised a lot, and they did not deliver. But
it begins.
The one before that was Retribution, right?
As if I could fucking tell the difference.
I think so. I think so. That's the underwater ice base, like the ice underwater umbrella
with
ice
Leon.
research facility with the clones and everything. Yeah, with
Leon.
Leon.
Was Leon in that?
Yes.
Because there was Resident Evil, then there was Apocalypse was the third one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then Extinction is the third one. No, sorry, Apocalypse is second. Extinction is
Second, Extinction third,
Afterlife
is fourth, and then Retribution is fifth, and then the final chapter. I think that's
There was
there you
only
go.
I knew him
6?
at the time.
Man.
Yeah.
I think there was 6. Yeah, but they're gonna make
Yeah.
a new one.
Resident Evil, Apocalypse, Extinction, Afterlife, Retribution, final chapter. Retribution was the best, I think. Yeah, it was the best.
I think so. It was super memes.
It was wild. Yeah, it was wacky wildness. Resident Evil, the final chapter, it's the Nightmare on Elm Street 4 of the Resident Evil series.
I do not
That's,
agree.
that's
I fucking
funny.
hate that Elm Street movie. Meanwhile,
I guess
the last Resident Evil was
just in
like,
terms of this
there was some good
beginning.
memes. Foot Smoosh was funny.
Was
Food
the
Smoosh
last
was
one
amazing.
more
I
like,
liked the final chapter. It was fun. I meant just like
was
the
it more
beginning
like
of
Freddy's
it.
Dead?
Also,
It's
remember-
more like Retribution sets up
but
like a really
it doesn't
amazing,
undo
wacky.
it. It
next
just
movie.
skipped it. You know,
Yeah, it's like
Elm
yeah,
Street
you're
undoes
technically
all of
true,
it.
you're true. Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
hell,
I
I
fucking
still-
hate that movie so much.
We had so much
What a
good shit to say about that
dumbass.
third one, and then it
Not
just
the third
just
one,
pisses
yeah.
all over it with fire.
The fourth was like, what if we fucking killed everybody and the dog pissed fire and Freddy's back and they're dead now, and actually this one girl is the most important of everything ever. And I'm like, Jesus.
Bad, so.
Fuck you. Not canon.
And that's Mike's
my
favorite
heart.
on RLM, by the way. That one.
I don't get
What?
I don't know.
3
Because
is
he's a
obviously
wacky.
the
He's
best.
wacky.
Yeah, it's not even
And
close.
I just love how you see Frank Darabont's name, the credits. It's like,
Everything makes
yeah,
sense
yeah,
now.
That's why it's so much better.
I think it was between that one and New Nightmare that were the worst, right?
Oh, New Nightmare.
Or
Oh.
New Nightmare was miserable.
Because even the fucking stupid ass remake had some things going for it.
The remake was
Minor
cynical.
things
New Nightmare was just fucking boring.
And it thought it
I
was so
remember-
clever and smart.
Yeah,
and
up its own ass and
asshole.
boring.
Freddy's Dead. That was the 6th one, I think, right? And that was like kind of like
The 90s
funny.
one? Where we were like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this is funny and silly.
Yeah.
That's the
Of
one
course,
where
not
they
the
go to
Power
the
Glove.
crazy carnival and the power glove. Yeah, that one had wacky, goofy
Yeah,
stuff
that
in
one
it.
was kind of entertaining. Though again, not Freddy vs. Jason. It's like,
Oh, fuck,
shit,
what a
that was
fun
funny.
film.
That was an entertaining
I live for
movie.
films like that and Elm Street 3. Those are the two types, alright? Let's get more of both of those.
Is Alien vs. Predator in that general realm for you?
I don't think
I think
AVP is as good as Freddy vs.
Freddy
Jason.
vs. Jason was more
I
entertaining.
agree.
Yeah, I think so. I think
I
Freddy
agree.
vs. Jason is the better versus movie. But
It is a
AVP
highly
better than AVP
diluted
too,
version
obviously.
of that kind of movie.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's Alien vs. Predator takes itself maybe a little bit too seriously, whereas Freddy vs. Jason is very much like
It
this
knows
is
what
fun.
it is, but it
Yeah,
still
this is
knows to
fun.
be decently written.
Just remember
Yeah,
when,
like
when Freddy realizes he's in the real world, the expressions Robert Englund gives him
Oh!
are so good. He's so fucking good in that movie. I'm so glad he got
feel
to
like
do
they
that.
finally. Well, exactly. That's what I was just about to say. I'm so glad that after all the shitty ways that his character was treated in the originals, where they just didn't let him be like a cool guy, you know, he did get that chance to go out with a real banger.
Well, yeah, I think the longer the series went on, the more they realized he's funny. And it's like, yeah, he's funny. He's not scary. Scary's not like that's not what he's best at. Him being fucking funny and a goober.
Certainly
that's-
not that.
If it was a different actor, they could have done the scary, but it maybe they wanted him to be really
There's
scary.
too many times
but
where he does something gross to scare, but it ends up being kind of trolly instead, and then funny. Like,
Yeah.
and there's some movies that just went off the rails and made him really clowny, and so the only recovery is to just still make him funny. But yeah, I don't know. Freddy vs. Jason just nailed it for the tone.
it really did.
And I can't believe, I still just can't believe in retrospect, they did a better job of putting those two against each other than most versus movies ever have.
No, because yeah, versus movies like kind of should have a bad reputation. They're usually like not good.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but there we are. But, just the way they had them interact, in several different fights, and the justification to bring in Jason. I couldn't believe that it was actually solid. And how it worked. And then the fact that they compete for this, the girl who fell asleep in the area that Jason's killing people, and someone tried to sex her, so that gave Jason that's like one of his triggers, sort of thing. She's like, oh my god, you guys, you worked way harder on this than anybody would have ever expected you to.
We'll never say you worked harder than you should have, because you should always work hard on the story. Just we didn't expect that you would work that hard to try and justify all that stuff, and it made the film is better because of it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, it would have been nice for a sequel, but hey, probably wouldn't have been as good, and that's that. Destroyed 3 franchises. It is truly depressing. I'm hoping Andor Season 2 is good, but it'll take as many years for Star Wars to recover, maybe never. And we will know at this point in time whether or not Andor 2
I sure hope it was good.
Oh, I do too, but... it's so scary. Anyway.
Yeah, it is.
Platoon has been kidnapped and locked away by Not Metal. He'll be released when Metal Commander is made host. Ransom letter is due to come any day now. Can't do that. That's mean. Besides, he'll probably be able to talk his way out of it. He'll make Metal feel guilty. Besides, you said it was not Metal, so I guess it wasn't Metal who kidnapped him, actually. That evil guy called Not Metal, who looks similar, but is completely different. Fuck, marry, kill, Boogie, DSP, Wings.
We're probably marrying DSP, right?
I think
Wings makes more money than DSP.
Oh no,
right?
wait, Boogie makes the most out of the 3 of them.
Yeah, but I don't know that's the
money
the
is
ultimate,
not a
money
is not a
well,
concern.
what I'm saying is money, because you can marry and then get divorced and get half the money. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the problem with marry in all of these ones is, can I just divorce them straight away or no? And it's like, no. And
No,
then, okay, well then...
of that thing to live with.
So you have to live with them is the idea. Out of the 3, I feel like Wings is actually the most tolerable, but I could be completely wrong.
Probably.
I don't know.
But
Boogie, I would hate. Yeah.
And I think obviously, I'm not very up to date on the DSP,
he's
whatever his situation is right now.
But he's still streaming and stuff. I think he's
and doesn't he have gambling problems as well? So you don't want to be, you know what I mean? That's going to be difficult on the relationship if he's gambling. He's got a gambling problem. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna marry.
We want to go through a rough divorce.
I'm gonna marry Wings.
They're gonna be marry Wings,
which probably means fuck DSP and kill Boogie.
Oh, actually, you're right. Yeah, I'd fuck DSP and I would marry Wings and we'd kill Boogie. Absolutely. I could understand marrying DSP, but then the fucking comes into the equation and it changes everything.
Yeah. All right.
Here's the thing. I would rather live with Wings forever. I'd rather live with Wings forever than fuck.
I mean, he's mostly gonna.
That's what I picked.
He's mostly gonna leave you be, I think. Yeah.
It's just you might have to. I don't know if he's played Call of Duty much anymore, because as he has aptly pointed out, it ruined his life. So I don't know if he needs to play Call of Duty anymore, which means he might actually have fun playing video games and not be throwing the controller around so much, nowadays.
Apparently, this person added, RK Outpost was asked this question, and Ryan said he'd marry Wings. It doesn't say anything else, though. But it looks like he opted for that as well. It says, liver tastes good.
I just hope that Wings doesn't, attack me and push me over or something if he gets it has a heated gamer moment.
Just don't piss him off. I guess just let him game, but then he'd get pissed off doing that, so I don't know. Yeah, it could be awkward, but, you're alright. Oh, thank Ferret, an EFAP host that speaks English. What language are we speaking right now? God, Swedish. Waiting for Rian Johnson's trilogy soon. I mean, if that got officially confirmed and they were filming or something, I'd be like, this is gonna be fucking hilarious.
There's no way. Not now. When they're
I don't
too
believe it's gonna
afraid to release
happen.
a Star Wars movie. Oh, me neither.
But if it did, it wouldn't be it's simultaneously catastrophic and hilarious news. In terms of just fuck it, yeah, we'll do 3 more Rian Johnson films. Go ahead, Disney.
The first was a real banger. People love that.
That worked out real good.
They didn't fucking drive the brand name into the shitter.
Not at all. not trying to be mean, but y'all owe an apology to Ching Wid, the guy who wrote the VIP in Squid Game, because it turns out you can be rich and stupid. Oh, I see what they're saying.
Was that the justification for why they were the
This
way
is
they
justification
were?
for why Disney, DC, everybody are retarded. Is the see?
Like, they all get paid a lot of money, but still they're dumb. Is that what they mean?
Well, yeah.
Like,
We owe an apology to the criticism we gave to the people in Squid Game because they. I mean, our main criticism I think was the voices, right? Not necessarily how stupid they were.
Yeah, it was the
wasn't about being
voices.
stupid. It was just that their temperament was really fucking weird, and not weird. And they're
Very
like, "Well, yeah,
strange.
they're meant to be weird." It's like, no. As in, like, it didn't seem like they were written by somebody who speaks English, like as their first language.
Like I remember because we had to rewatch in aid of Squid Game season 2, which, funnily enough, the fucking second part of season 2 might be out by now. When is that? Is that late 2025?
Sometime this. I think it's the middle of 2025,
Middle.
like mid to late 2025.
May very well be out. Yeah. In any case, the one I remember. There's loads of really bad lines, but one I remember is they have the model of the glass tile game, and the curtains open and they reveal the actual like playing field, and then one of them goes, "It's bigger."
Yeah,
And it's just like,
okay.
what the fuck? And I think so. We're like, it's not a bit of a nitpick, and it's like it's indicative of something that you would ever write it, have them perform it, and then edit it such that it remains in. It's such an awful line. Like, what is that? It's bigger. Hi Rags.
Hello.
Hello Platoon. Mola, will I ever see you stream the Hitman series back to back before I die of old age? Also, fringy thoughts on Jiang Zemin?
What is that?
I do not know.
Or do you?
Job, please give this to Frongle. Mola, please post. You know, you guys write anything you want, and that's okay. I just don't know what to do with some of these.
We appreciate your patronage dearly. We truly do. And we love each and every one of you.
Yes.
However, it is within your best interest to make your super chat messages understandable.
I can't remember the context for this one, but Rags, please stop forcing your atheism down everyone's throat. Although I'm glad you're out of the false Catholic religion, I want everyone to know the truth, which is in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, why don't you fucking pray about it? Ha ha ha! Got him.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I was raised Catholic, and I never look back at my upbringing with malice or hatred or regret. I had a very good upbringing. It did a lot of good for me. I was raised by good people, good parents. I had very good relationship with church members and pastors, and yeah, I never look back with any kind of animosity at it. I'm just an atheist now, so there you go.
Yeah, but you got to stop forcing it down people's throats. Why do you
well.
have to go around and just shout "No God"? Like,
No
just
God.
wherever you go.
You are dumb.
Star Wars had the highest toys sales 3 years in a row in 2010 before it was sold. Isn't that amazing? 2010.
2010. That's like, I mean, the Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005. So 5 years later.
Oh wait,
well, it's because like what we were talking about.
2005.
It was 5, yeah, because 3 years between.
Oh, okay. Yep. So yeah, 5 years
Yeah.
after Revenge of the Sith. It's like what we talked about before with the prequels being, you know, the renaissance of Star Wars, where even years and years afterwards, people still like that era, and it is revitalized it, and it brought so much to the table.
We need David Tennant's doctor. Yeah, I know.
Now what?
I mean, it was a good indicator of the damage Disney did. The merchandise sales are dead. Like, no one likes Star Wars.
I think I've posted pictures before. Ollie's is a chain of stores here, and they basically buy things from all the other stores, like overstock stuff that they can't sell and things of that nature. And so then they pass on the savings to me. Ollie's is great. I fucking love Ollie's. And when I go there, I pass by their little like toy aisles, and they are filled to the brim constantly with Rose Ticos and old like Marvel figures and like the Night Sister, Riva, and all the goofy people from Kenobi, like little action figures of them. They've got them out the wazoo, boatloads, just like pallets of these action figures for these shitty Disney and Marvel characters that nobody buys. They can't even sell them at Ollie's, practically giving them away.
Yep, so it goes. I used to be with
Yay.
Star Wars, but then they changed. Then they changed what Star Wars was. Now what I'm with isn't it? And what Star Wars is seems weird and scary to me. It'll happen to you. I love that quote. It's great. Do you think when a Donkey Kong game comes out that it has an effect on banana sales? Maybe.
No.
Well, we're about to find out with we found out with the new Donkey Kong game.
Is there a website that shows incredibly funny correlations, like in statistics?
Yeah.
Just like, oh, by the way, with the rise in this also went up, but it's like exactly the same over time. Does this have a connection? Probably not.
A famous connection between a movie releasing and economic behavior was after Jaws came out. When after Jaws released, a lot of people didn't go to the beach.
Well, see, yeah, what I meant was the website covers ones that couldn't possibly be related, like, or at least you couldn't figure out for the life of you why they would be related, but that they match almost perfectly.
I see.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, just coincidental, coincidental,
Maybe
links
like
and things.
Potato sales and shoelace lengths or something. You're just like, what?
Yeah. The more potatoes people eat, the longer the shoelaces get. Someone has to put a stop to this.
There's something to manipulate here. I just don't know what it is. Do you think? Oh, sorry. When I was a little kid playing Donkey Kong 64, made me more inclined to eat bananas. Do y'all like bananas? Yeah.
I do not like bananas.
Oh.
Bananas are my least favorite berry.
Is it because it tastes weird or texture or?
It's a bit of both. I don't really like the texture. I don't really care for the taste. If it's in banana bread that's particularly good, I don't really mind it. But I'm not a banana guy. Don't care for them. I don't find them disgusting, but they're like where a tomato is like a 5 out of 10 for me. I'd say a banana is like a 3, 4, where it's like, eh.
Banana is one of my higher ranking fruits personally, but everyone's different in it. In Blueprints, you can extend your overall like length of being able to, like length of time, so to speak, by getting food. And this includes different meals you can find in the game. They'll give you big old bonuses, but you can find apples, oranges, and bananas. And what's funny in terms of just video game logic, I guess, is that there's different items you can collect that'll give you different benefits. For example, you could get a key, a regular one, or you can get a skeleton key, or a key that opens particular difficult places. And similarly, different bonuses applied to lots of different things. And there's a salt shaker, and it will increase the benefit you get from any food by 10% or something like that. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny. You'll pick up banana and it'll start pouring salt on it. It's like,
I mean, who doesn't love a good salty banana? That sounds like an old medieval time inn. Like, we're gonna stop on the side of the road and get a room in the salty banana.
I was gonna say the name of a place being the salty banana does sound. It sounds kind of piracy, doesn't it?
Like a little bit. Like it's like a pirate themed dive bar or something. The salty banana. It's the name of a place that's not trying to sound cool. It's very secure and confident. It's like, yeah, we're the salty banana. There's a place in Branson called the Cheeky Monkey. And we've always liked the name.
Yeah.
The Cheeky Monkey.
I've always liked Trungos.
Trungos is that's high tier. High tier name is Trungos.
KK will never leave, and her leaving won't change a thing. Disney won't change course until they sink. Also, I won't change course either. Play DDLC, Dumbos. Yeah, I mostly agree with those sentiments. She will be gone eventually, but it just won't matter.
But whoever will replace will be like Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni.
Or someone worse, you know?
Or maybe even, Yeah, but I mean, even if it was either one of those, it'd be like, yeah, but it's gonna suck. They made Mando and Ahsoka and all that crap. Why would anything improve? It's always it's gonna just accept it's gonna be shit forever. Or at least for the for the next like probably 20 years.
There's the guy who probably likes Andor the most out of all of us. Gonna
Yeah,
be
I
shit
mean,
forever.
no, Andor's gonna come to a fucking end, and then that'll be that.
Yeah.
I just don't
Gilroy
expect that.
seems very, very passionate about Star Wars to the point where he might get another project. We don't know.
I mean, that would
That's
be
got to be
cool if
something
he
they're
could
thinking
get
about, and that everything depends on the reception of Andor Season 2, which we will have known
If
what that is by now.
Disney needs to understand that if you don't build up an actual sort of like a reason for people to give a shit, you're gonna run out of fuel eventually, much like they're doing with like remaking all their classics and stuff. They've almost caught up to present time when it comes to their remakes. They need to have people like Gilroy make stuff so that in the future people will actually care. Even if it doesn't do that well financially, you need to build
Well,
up respect in the brand
Consider,
again.
they're so inundated with their process that a significant criticism from the audience was, I don't know any of the people in Andor, like Season 1 now, and it's like, dude, do you remember a time where we would watch stories with people who we didn't know? That was a thing. It's like, wait, what?
In fact, that was pretty common,
There's a little
actually.
movie called Star Wars. You didn't know anybody in that film. I'm just saying. Not to say, by the way, that there's not more to the criticism. I understand that. What I'm trying to get at is that a lot of people were put off by the fact that they're not following someone iconic from Star Wars. And whose fault is that specifically? I feel like that is more on the creators because they've tried to move all the content that way. Same with the MCU. Like, who's going to be in the next one? It's this person. Who's going to be in the next one? And so whenever you don't have a who's going to be in the next one, it's just, well, this is just a new story. It's like, oh. And it's like, wait, well, no, that's fine, actually. And it's like, well, yeah, but you've put so much emphasis on, like, the crazy reveals or the amazing thing that we're going to be getting, this iconic character, that whenever you don't, it actually feels like you don't, the project itself is, like, almost lamer. But, not for us necessarily. I just mean that there's a lot of people out there who They gave a real good shot to Obi-Wan. Can't imagine why, the audience, and they just weren't willing to give as much of a shot to Andor, and that's the culture that they've contrived, right? Because if it had come out around Rogue One releasing, I think it would have done a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People were much more willing to just be like, yeah, Star Wars world, new people, here we go. But now, if it doesn't have fucking Vader in it, what's the point? Can't believe he was in Outlaws. Ugh.
Yeah, but of course
Jeez.
Of course you can believe it.
I can
You know what
believe
I mean?
it. I can't believe
Of
that I
course they
can
would.
believe it. Maybe.
Yeah, that's something I was talking to Friggy about. It was like, whenever someone says why and they know why, it's more so directed not at the people who made it, but at the universe for having unfolded this way.
Yeah.
Like, really? Why? Who organized that? Like, why did...
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Couldn't have a different universe? Alright. Well, hey, at least we got Mobland, but that'll be over by now. So I hope that was...
Yeah,
that worked
hopefully
out.
that ended well and was,
Yeah,
an
because the
all-around
first
good
episode
show.
was pretty neat. I liked it.
You've seen the first episode of Mobland?
Yeah, I did. They told me to watch it for F&T. We didn't talk about it, but he told me to.
You gonna continue it, or are you gonna drop it?
I think I would like to continue it, yeah.
There are 3 episodes out. I've seen them. They're good.
Well, I do need to. Yeah,
Likewise.
I liked the first one. I thought it was pretty good. It definitely has me interested. I was very happy to see Pierce Brosnan
Yeah.
and in particular Pierce Brosnan, because I haven't seen him since Black Adam. Where he was
He
the
was good
best
at that,
part.
yeah.
He was good. He
Was,
was legitimately
yeah.
really good. It was really neat to see, of course, Patty Considine in it. I was like, oh my gosh, all my favorite old men are here.
But
It's
ironically, yes.
wonderful.
I mean, even
Yeah.
Tom Hardy is
And then
fucking great as well.
yes, Tom Hardy. But I was like, yeah, everyone is good acting so far. I like the premise of the story. I thought that I consider myself mildly invested already. So yeah, I need to catch up.
A shilling for the KK employment status meter in dire need of maintenance, currently wobbling between extremes like a broken hyperactive metronome. Yeah, the conversation of her employment is just constant, never-ending. And it's kind of hilarious in the sense of she must be so annoyed. Like everyone just talks about when are you leaving. She's like,
Yeah.
not yet. You're like, yeah, but when? You're like, you shut up. Remember that interview we read was fucking funny, man.
Yeah, it was.
She was a fucking bitch.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you
was.
get the sense she's fucking bitter about the fact that
And
whenever there's a rumor,
defensive, yeah.
everyone's happy. It's
Yeah.
like, stop! I'm not leaving, and I
Yeah, but
won't
why do you
ever
think
leave.
that is?
Exactly. She ruined everything. She was at least the custodian that oversaw the ruining of everything.
She more than anyone else, she is responsible for the destruction of Star Wars. That is her legacy. Her whole life led her to that. But that's what she did. So
Yeah. Glup Shido, Sneem, Doji Beard, icons of Star Wars. Fuck yeah, dude.
Club Shido and Sneem. They dropped it on. That's like the first note in the game was from Sneem.
Oh yeah, we all had fun with that because that's just an obvious one-more word, like a Sneem.
Sneem.
Which terrible YouTuber makes the first "we were too harsh on Kathleen Kennedy" videos after another crap Star Wars? So what will happen is her replacement, and then a bad thing comes out, and then it'll say like "we were too harsh to Kathleen Kennedy," and we will be there to say no, we weren't. No matter how bad anything comes out after whoever replaces her, even if it is. I was about to say like a Filoni project, on average. If it's like an Ahsoka, it is terrible, but at least it's like, I don't know, it just seems to... There's like a bleh factor to it. Meanwhile,
I get you.
the sequels are like
Yeah.
noxious, you know?
Rancid.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Well,
Ooh, no, I prefer noxious. Rancid is for something like Army of the Dead.
yeah. So Kathleen, what project did you say you'd share before you leave Lucasfilm? I declare to make the first ever Rose Tico trilogy. No, even they have their limits on that one. That would be so funny to suggest it and to see them all go,
You know what? We'll keep that in mind.
it's an idea, I suppose. I don't know if that's the right move right now. That's all.
We'll put it in the
Maybe
box
Kyle.
with all the other suggestions.
I never thought I'd be part of a timeline where Star Wars is a movie directors don't want to touch. Oh right, yeah. I could see that. Same with the MCU. A lot of directors are like warned to not go into it now.
Mm-hmm.
Creative
Didn't always
death.
used to be like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, people were scrambling for it when it was basically the biggest moneymaker on Earth, but now it's risky.
Yeah.
Never thought... Oh, yeah. Imagine Kathleen Kennedy turning into Gollum when she leaves, always wanting her precious second-hand position at Lucasfilm. I mean, as she said, she doesn't plan to go until... Like, she basically implied she would work till death, so... Because movies are everything to her, apparently, which... You'd be curious to investigate that statement, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and
You
games
spend your
are
whole life
everything
working
to
in
Wings of
movies.
Redemption.
I mean, well, how do you work under the tutelage almost of a Spielberg and end up...
And then just make absolute crap.
Like, did you learn
Like,
nothing?
how does that happen?
Just nothing. Okay. Random question for Rings of Power. Since the Galadriel can now heal people with her ring, does that mean she could have healed Frodo of his wound?
We don't know what Nunya is her. Ninya, that's the name of her ring, right? We don't know what it does in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is a different continuity.
Yeah, it's
What
really
its
complicated.
capabilities
And
are.
which, sorry, just remind me, what are we talking about in terms of an opportunity for Frodo's wound? Where are we aiming for?
I guess
there? 'Cause
any time that Frodo's, I suppose his wound from being stabbed
I don't know if
by
because there's a difference between healing a flesh wound and healing a Mogul blade wound, right? Like that's...
I would assume that it would take something proper magical to do that. That it is very special, that wound.
being stabbed
Unless,
with
of
evil.
course. Well, here's the thing. Technically, the Hobbit trilogy is in continuity with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and Keeley gets shot in the leg with a Morgul arrow, and he has to have Tariel use Kingsfoil and her bullshit magic elf powers to heal him, and then he seems to be A-okay, though he dies in the third movie. So,
but not from that.
but not from that. That's just from getting proper stabbed by Bolg.
Well, Arwen
No, from the
gives
one.
Frodo
Azog.
a selection of shit to keep him alive, right? And then he gets healed up at Rivendell to an extent. Frodo, I mean. I'd have to see that again. I can't remember that in the Hobbit trilogy, though. I need to see the extended version as well, because I don't think I still haven't seen the extended Hobbits.
I don't think I've seen them either. I know about a lot of the scenes, but I haven't seen them.
I just haven't had reason to, because I didn't like them enough.
It would be an interesting... If we do an EFAP movies on them, which I think would be a really good idea, there will be a lot to talk about, because there are... What a weird trilogy of movies in terms of their construction and the choices that they made. There are some really good scenes in there, and there's a lot of wasted time filler, and there's a lot... It's a lot of bad stuff, too. But it is very interesting, those movies.
Nintendo breaks into your house and forces you into the next Smash Brothers. What's your moveset? Mine.
Nintendo breaks into my... Say that one more time. Nintendo breaks to my house with...
What would your moves be in a Super Smash Brothers game, basically?
Ooh.
I imagine that one of mine would have to be goo-related. It would have to be like... You know, like
throw
maybe
a vial.
I mean, I'm
like
going to be archetyped as Mr. Fantastic. Is obviously the.
Oh, your tentacles stretch really far.
Those
yeah.
are the broad moves, but yeah, the difference would be I wouldn't be like a clone character. It would have tentacles would be like a thing as well. That would probably be tied to the ultimate as well.
I guess that's what I mean is like almost figuring out like well what exactly would be
Signature
would be
moves.
like a template for that. Yeah, because I feel like my side B would have to be like a goo thing, right? Like kind of like how Link gets the bomb. Though I think that's his down B. Is
yeah,
the
that's
bomb.
his down B. His side B is the bow, right?
The side B is the boomerang. The B
the
is
boomerang.
B
That's
is,
right. Bow is just B.
Is the bow, yeah. And then obviously the up smash, the up recovery is just the spin. I don't know. Actually, that's
Solid Snake. He uses like grenades, right? He can throw grenades.
He can. I can't
hold it back to go further.
Well,
see, Rags would probably have guns of many types.
Yeah, like a Falco. Well, here's the thing: there's Falco, there's Fox, and there's Wolf. They both have guns. All of them, right?
They do, but I guess Fox is the fastest.
Yes, it's the fast one that doesn't flinch you. Falco has the one that shoots slower, does more, but it does flinch you.
Shoots much slower, but does more impact. But he's just slower in general.
I would want. I don't know how. Yeah, but it would be some sort of a gun move that could. Yeah, it'd be some sort of a gun move.
Or
I like the idea of like a counter, like Roy or Ike. They have the parry.
Oh yeah, you could have that for the down B, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's cheeky to pull off.
That is.
And you know me, I'm all cheek.
I want to be able to throw a film reel at people, and it's like a snare.
Yeah, I mean, what, like entangles them or something?
Yeah, just temporarily.
They get wrapped up in it. Yeah, I wonder. I feel like an ultimate, maybe for mine, would just be a tidal wave of goo. Just knocks them off the screen. Kind of be a bit boring. It'd be kind of like Mario.
It sounds like you're like a Green Lantern, and you control goo. The goo bends to your will.
Well, that would be interesting because it feels like at that point you're starting to do more of the because like Rosalina with the can't believe I've forgotten what they're called. Luna, right? That's the name of the little fellas. Or Luma. God damn it! It's like there's a sort of pairing there. It's not quite like the Ice Climbers because obviously with the Ice Climbers, when one of them gets taken out, you basically can't do anything.
You would be like I showed you once. I don't know if you remember. You remember when I was showing you Deadlock a little bit, and there was Viscus, who's like the green goo guy, and he can like turn into a ball and roll around. He could put himself in a safe like cube. He could like make goo punch things from far away, and he has like a goo gun. You could do some
There's
stuff
that.
like that.
I guess what could be interesting is because some characters, like the Inklings, they have like a meter, so when they run out of ink, they have to recover it, but like it limits their abilities. But if they when they tag enemies, like that has an impact. So like if they've got tagged enough, I think it increases their attack damage. So I'm almost wondering if there's an idea there that the goo is like a finite resource that has to be balanced. And that like one of the moves, maybe like
Or
the
it
down
charges
B is
slowly
the
over
recovery,
time.
where you have to
I
like
was thinking,
concoct
like
more goo.
Samus's gun, the way the mechanics work, but the equivalent for you could be you hit B, and instead of charging up the laser, it would be you're concocting a potion of some kind, and the longer
Or you're
you
like
go,
cranking up a goo gun to build it stronger
I
and
don't know about
stronger.
Goo Gun.
that
I'm
kind of
thinking
thing.
of him literally like holding the different vials
Yeah,
and,
like the
beakers and stuff
vials
and
messing
swirling them
with it,
around,
yeah.
and the longer you get to go, the more powerful the potion you can throw is.
That could be neat.
I
Like
like
he
the idea of that.
pours one to the other back and forth to mix it up.
And it, like,
really
and
good.
the color starts to change. Maybe it starts
Yeah,
out kind of
it
like
starts like a dark
transparent, and the
green,
greener
and then
it
it starts to
gets, yeah,
glow.
Well, it could
the
be
brighter and
Yeah.
glowier.
first one is damage over time a little bit. Second one is like a big slow, and the third one is a stun. If you get it to that point.
Yeah, that could work. That could I could see that working. The obviously the conclusion for this question is there is some potency here.
Oh
for
well,
all three,
the
for
three
all
of us
three
have
the
all kinds
characters.
of crazy differences in terms of how we would run our characters as well. But that would be really cool. And if I took it seriously, I'd want to spend days figuring out all the different
Yeah.
moves.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I wonder where we'd slot in the meta though. And I guess it depends on what game we're because if it's Super Smash Brothers Melee, then we'd all have to be a lot faster.
I don't
In
think
order to be competitive.
I think that it would be appropriate for EFAP characters to be really good, but they're not the meta because maybe they have a high skill ceiling or people haven't quite figured out how the characters
The
work
thing is
yet.
that they will always figure it out. Like Fox,
Yeah.
Fox in Melee is like he's tough, but like he's the best. At least generally, he's the best.
Yeah,
And
that's
people will
like
invest
technically
time to figuring
true.
him out.
It's just a matter of do you have the skill and the sort of dedication to learn it?
Well, and also what kind of play style, because Fox is aggressive compared to like Jigglypuff, for instance, who's not quite as aggressive. Like Fox is very
Well,
in your face.
huh. I feel like I'd be the most aggressive, I think,
I think you'd be the
personality-wise.
most aggressive.
I'm the
I think
fast,
you'd be
quick,
the
aggressive
fastest.
guy.
You'd be the fastest, I think.
yeah.
And
And
Muller is a
I wonder if
mix.
Muller is the
He's
well,
versatile,
I'm
and you're
wondering
more
if
like
it's Muller
defensive.
who's the slowest. That's what I'm kind of almost wondering is like who.
Well, I think thematically, to be like the scientist who concocts his goo, like you don't want to give him time. You have to be aggressive against him because if you don't, he's going to be sitting there making his potions and brews. And the more
That's
time he gets
true.
to make it, the better it is. So you got to keep the
That's
pressure
true.
on him so he doesn't build up his power.
I'm also thinking I'm thinking who has the best recovery. I feel like it's got to be because Mullers would have to be it'd have to be
It would
like
be
Link
tentacles,
shooting
yeah.
the chain. It would have to be tentacle that grabs onto a surface, which would probably be the best recovery. And I'm thinking mine would probably have to be the least recovery. A dog. I don't know why a dog feels like it's got better recovery than than a plague doctor.
Yeah, they're very mobile. Even in games, the dogs are typically like the fast
Yeah.
characters who are, yeah. I don't know what exactly it would be.
I mean, if we were just riffing on Fox, it would just be blasting yourself, up
Yeah.
in the air.
I would
'Cause for
probably,
mine, I'm not sure.
for Rags' sake, try
not
to
sure.
not just copy that, right? Like you
No,
want to
of
find a
course.
reason.
You want to come up with something a bit
Yeah,
better.
I'm thinking like is what would sort of work? Is
Ooh,
it
I
more of a
actually like.
recovery or more of like
You could just like shoot
some are
down
more
with
I
guns.
think your recovery would have to have some. You could shoot down, but for some reason, I'm feeling like Rags' recovery's got to be like have an attack. Attack because like I'm thinking, for instance, mine could
it
just
can
be
be a
like
downwards attack, right?
a goo.
Because if
A goo. It could be. It could be. I just wonder if that's like the most effective way to do it compared to like, for instance, Samus, where hers is just the recovery like deals damage, and Donkey Kong and stuff like that.
I like the idea of my recovery being like I'm in the air and I shoot down, and you can maybe
I
even
like that
steer it
too.
just a little bit based off of
Oh,
like
maybe
left and
yeah,
right,
maybe
the
like
way
you
the
shoot a
direction the
rocket
gun
launcher or
shoots.
something. like a rocket launcher.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
propel
I
yourself
guess it's like a
a
thunk,
rocket
and then
jump.
I
Yeah.
go up and it explodes below me, which a lot of the times might not hit anybody, but you can use it as both a recovery or a
Maybe
little
maybe
hit.
the thing that would be interesting as a balance is that it's a recovery that would have to deal a little bit of damage to you. Like it's a good
Maybe
recovery with good
if I'm
attacks, and
close
then
to the
also
explosion at the bottom, yeah.
yeah, that it
Like if
deals
I
a bit
use
of
it from the
damage.
ground, it'll hurt everything, including me. But if I use it in the air or far enough away from the ground
Yeah.
when the little bomb or whatever
Mhm.
hits, then
I
yeah,
like
that
that.
could be neat. That could be a
But I
trade-off.
was
And
thinking
it doesn't hurt
for
anything above me, only below me.
below, which means that that would have to be its utility if you were on stage.
I have an idea
But I
for
guess
my
the thing is,
ultimate.
okay,
I would bury the tentacles into the ground, and you'd have to jump at the right time to avoid them. But if they grab you, it would be like wrapped around, and then it would extend you.
right,
Oh, or
Take some health
maybe
that's
off.
a good idea.
you have your tentacles go into the ground and there's like randomly everywhere on the map there's all these little like dust things that happen like it's about to spring up, and you got to make sure to not stand in those areas. Like you have to play, like don't stand in the red essentially. And if you're around one of those spots when it comes up, yeah, it like grabs you, leeches health from you, or
I
maybe
sort of moved
it could
around
do
on the
like a
ground.
random
So
effect to you. It might suck some health out, it might just stun you, it might come out and smack you against the ground a few times.
Yeah, I'd
Either
be
way,
okay
it's
with
I
not
that.
wonder.
good, but
Make
it's a
for a
little
good
random.
effect.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
play
because
into the
with
versatility of
randomizing,
tentacles.
that's I think my recovery would just be like a goo trampoline. That's what I think it would be. Kind of like how like Sonic just bounces off
Ooh,
the
Like
spring
a
to launch up in the air.
yeah, like a goo cube or something
Jelly
that you're
Yeah, some sort of
cube,
jelly
yeah,
cube, chicken jockey, slime cube,
yeah,
slime
slime
yeah,
cube,
cube. That's
something
it.
whatever.
like that.
Slime
Just
cube.
just to bounce up. Yeah, that feels like it would. Yeah, I like I think it's good memes.
Rags,
I
what's
think
your
this
ulti?
works.
I remember Fringy, you once talked about an element of Super Smash Bros. That has not really necessarily improved, but the having a level of control directly over your ults, kind of like what's that item where it's like a spaceship, you get the 3 pieces and then
Yeah.
you
Oh
get like a
yeah,
reticle
and
on the
then you fire.
screen.
Yeah,
I think I'd like something like that where I get to like take a shot with a big gun or like a bazooka, and so I
Nice
have
well,
like
I
a
sniper
mean, it
rifle.
reticle
could be
that I
like
aim.
Oh, it
you
could be like
remember
Naked Gun 1, where you
Snake?
keep assembling pieces like for that one gun that just gets bigger
Oh
and bigger
yeah,
and bigger.
yeah.
It
I was
would be
thinking about
funny too
Swordberry,
that you
yeah.
could fire the gun at any point, but the more you collect, the more pieces, the bigger the ult will be.
I was thinking Snake, with where he grabs onto the the
The gunship helicopter, right?
yeah, and then just starts firing grenades from off screen. But it could be it could just be like a big blaster, like you just get some crazy gun that just or like you whip out like 6 guns and just fire them all at once, and for some reason it creates a big
I
and you finish it off with a rocket launcher that blows
Yeah, I pull out the surface to air
everything up.
missile from Batwoman. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's what that's what it's called, surface to air missile.
When it's clearly just not, but that's
It's
what
just a
it's
fucking
called.
RPG.
It's obviously not.
I mean, I guess you could shoot it from the surface to the air, but
Yeah, you can. It is technically possible.
Oh, there you go. Something to work with
Yeah,
for
there
that
you
game
go.
that one day will happen for sure.
hmm.
It looks like a D&D planning session. RDJ don't seem to save the MCU right now. I'd like to see a Spider-Man and Daredevil team up versus Kingpin. Would you though? Who's writing that?
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be shit.
We're getting Battle-World without any of the build-up. No X-Men, barely any Avengers, and the Fantastic Four one movie before. Yeah, well, enjoy your slop. It's gonna be great. Don't forget that there's still a need for bankers to give out loan applications for other financial things in a world that has the fucking blip. I can't believe Daredevil and Falcon couldn't get a loan.
Yeah, it's
It's
crazy.
insane.
Look, it's
A
Magneto.
literal Avenger.
It's Magneto and Charles as children. Look, he's on a choo-choo train. Wait, oh no.
Oh no.
Get the kids off the train. Or something. Whatever's happening there. How do MCU deal with global markets, health, and transports in a world where they have space travel fucking faster than light travel? Why is Earth so okay with all of this? That's another way that this is the kind of problems we'd be having if the movies were still good. We would be like, well, this doesn't make a lot of sense. You can't just make a story in modern Earth in this world for this long.
Yeah.
It's impossible now. The world will
Because
be
the
completely different.
technology would be such that the world will look like they had helicarriers in 2012. We don't have helicarriers today.
So
You
yeah,
know, like it's the technology is not reflected in the average sort of day-to-day life in that world, which doesn't really make much sense. But this is the least of its problems compared to
Yeah.
there was a celestial poking out of Earth for like years and nobody gave a shit.
Do you remember? This will be a weird throwback or reference. Do you remember Independence Day 2?
I didn't
Yeah.
watch it.
Oh,
I
well, they
remember the
kind of do
premise
this in
anyway.
Independence Day 2. Our technology has progressed a great deal in the second Independence Day movie because of what we learned from the aliens
When
and
in
their
reality,
technology.
with how many people died, there's just no fucking way that in 20 years humanity would be dramatically better off afterward.
Well,
Even
I
with the
mean, we're not
technology.
even. I had skipped the idea of acknowledging the blip because
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what the writers did. They skipped it too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The blip should have more than flag smashes. Yeah, that was pretty much the only real consequence in the storylines of the blip.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great.
And all of that was pretty much self-contained to that show. I don't recall them
Yep.
ever really delving into
They
it.
never
It's
come up
just, yep,
again.
these are the bad guys. These are the sympathetic bad guys from this show, and we're done.
I think we'd answered this one before, but it's still here. Asking someone who knows nothing about the character, why do you guys like Doctor Doom as a villain so much? Broadly, he ticks every single box that you'd want a villain to have. He's hyper competent, very powerful, super motivated, looks fucking great. Will usually be
Great
played by
costume.
some hyper respectable actor, and it just means that serious things will happen while he's on screen. But ironically, of course, it's how he will be treated in Doomsday will probably be terrible.
Yeah, which will kind of be
Yep.
interesting in terms of like, all of his appearances haven't been fucking great. Despite being who he is.
And yet his reputation is huge still. It just goes to show you the power of the character and what everyone wants to see him doing, but we won't probably see him doing. There's not much else to say in terms of just like, I don't expect them to do well with him. I just, we all know. To an extent, Galactus and Mephisto have the same thing. There's loads of potential with these characters, but
But again, these are characters that you should be building up to for a while rather than just, oh fuck, I guess we decide we want to do them now, and then we might never see them again. Like, I don't know, the first Fantastic Four movie where they fight Galactus seems pretty fucking silly to me. But, okay, whatever.
Well, they're not going to be. I don't know what the fucking plan is, but obviously they won't be killing him in it, and I don't know if they're using him as bait for like, look, it's Galactus, bye.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, what if
Maybe
he
the Silver
destroys that
Surfer,
world
like,
and then they exit through a portal or something?
I mean, it feels like you could never have those characters be happy-go-lucky ever again,
No.
right? If they actually came from a fucking universe or at least an Earth that got completely annihilated, but maybe that is what they do. Maybe that's how they get him out of there. It's like, see,
And
Galactus
that's why
was
they
a
know when he
got
arrives
rid
in
of
the
this
MCU,
universe,
they'll be
we're
like, oh my
gonna-
goodness, we gotta stop him. He killed our world.
Okay.
Okay. My dad and I have seen the My Adventures with Superman and like it. It does Superman well, but the Green Lantern show seems not as interesting. Fair enough.
That's the animated series, I think, which they're doing a different one for Green Lantern.
Guys, come on. Avengers is going to have super high stakes considering She-Hulk can just stop the movie and rewrite the script. That's a power she canonically has. Hi, Rags.
That's why,
Hello.
yes, why she can't be a part
but we
of
don't
it,
talk
really.
about that.
No, it
Yeah.
was
She is
great.
the most
It was
powerful
great and
character in the
worthwhile, and
MCU.
everyone still talks about it. What a great move.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the part where she wanted to jump in and twist and mold Matt Murdock's brain in order to like her and hang out with her. That was cool. I like how it was one of those awkward things of like, oh shit, guys, got to acknowledge this is pretty fucking weird, but you couldn't because it was.
Well, and if it were a man doing it to a woman, it would have been all over the fucking place. It's a huge mistake of writing.
I mean, of course. Like, it's just what you break reality to fucking alter their mind to like you. Like, it's really bad. I can't believe people and like it's a great joke. It's like, why? Because it's fourth wall breaking. It's meta. It's like, god damn
Any
it.
fourth wall break is good, regardless of context.
That's
Fringy,
right,
didn't you know?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. oh, but everybody they like it when Deadpool does it, but not She-Hulk. It's like, yeah, I wonder if there might be a
I
difference in
used
the
to like it
fucking
when
writing.
Deadpool did it.
Dude, why don't we
I
just
did
broaden
used
it out
to,
further?
yeah.
How come you like Darth Vader, but you don't like fucking She-Hulk? They're both characters.
Mm-hmm. They are both characters, I suppose.
Yeah, you know. How come you have different feelings about different things? They're both things.
But I mean, all the complaining amounted to nothing because there will be no more She-Hulk.
I hope
And
you
we might
enjoyed
never
her
see the
because she's
character ever again.
gone. Yep.
So all that fighting for that show didn't fucking amount to anything in terms of
Didn't amount
the
to a whole
future
hill
of
of
that
beans.
Hey man, I'm still
character.
holding out for Acolyte season 2. Okay.
One day, yes, one day.
starring
Maybe they gotta
starring
make it.
Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk. Should be great.
Oh my god.
Will you EFAP TV, Daredevil? I missed the format. Thinking about like the viability of that, probably wouldn't have worked. I
Probably
prefer the format we chose for Daredevil, because I don't think it would have been weird trying to do it with the EFAP TV format. But you know what? You just have to sort of wait for the right thing to come along. So the next thing that might suit that, I'm trying to think of what it would be. We got any TV shows on the horizon that seem? Because like we won't be doing it for Andor.
Last of Us, maybe, or
No, I have no fucking interest in doing that. That was a nightmare of work. Definitely bit off way more than I could chew with editing that one. I don't want to do it with season 2. I don't even like. I'm not passionate at all about. This is so weird to have this conversation because everyone will know all of this now because it will be over. But
this one's for the real fans.
It's a kind of a rare occurrence. Like I hate the source material they are adapting. I hate it. So.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
You know, it's a weird position to be like, I hope they are as unfaithful as possible. Which they won't be, because unfortunately The Last of Us is one of the more faithful to source things we've ever had as like a, adaptation. It's kind of remarkable in that way.
Which is great for the first season.
Yeah, sure, yeah, but
won't be
But that was the
one.
first game.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it wouldn't be that. I don't know exactly what it'll be, but no, I really think that EFAP TV is awesome. It's just that I'm not sure what it will be. We don't just do it to do it, you know.
No. It'll
be when it comes along.
Sufficiently interesting.
I first found out about EFAP around episode 150 after falling off the show for a year, moving 1,700 kilometers twice, going through 3 jobs, loving, losing, and learning. I can now say with confidence that I've watched all of EFAP at 1 time speed. What a ride it's been.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Well, how about
That is
that? We've
awesome.
run the show long enough that we have long-term fans that lose interest and come back.
We did it. We
Amazing.
made it, everybody.
Yeah. But hey man, I hope you're doing well, and I'm glad you
sounds
like
like
the
you've
show.
been up to a lot.
I've never heard of the Authority until today.
Yeah, it's just a
Feel like
terrible
that was,
idea.
yeah.
It's just an obviously stupid idea.
Yeah.
And it's probably not even going to happen at this rate.
When Fringy was talking about all this stuff, and as we were reading all these articles, I was like, yeah, like 80% of these people in organizations I have never heard of or are only faintly aware exist.
It's just, it should be it's Superman, Batman. Those are fucking priority, those two. But still, a pretty high priority is Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lanterns, which they are doing. Aquaman. I know that you've just done one, but you should probably like do a real one, and maybe one where Aquaman isn't a fucking goober, but like Aquaman is actually kind of like the stoic leader. I know that that's kind of boring for some reason, but like, this is what I mean. It's like, the way that I see it is like the only option is to essentially be really quick in establishing your key players and doing so very faithfully. And picking like the most popular sort of iterations of those characters as well, and laying down the groundwork for their supporting characters. So figuring out your supporting characters for Superman, for Batman, like the Bat Family, stuff like that. Not doing like The Authority or Peacemaker Season 2 or Sergeant Rock or Clayface. Like, these are just like, these are not, it's just not, if they're good scripts, that's something, but I don't believe that, I don't trust James Gunn's perspective on what a good script is, because he wrote Guardians 3. And he said The Flash was great, and that should count negatively.
That should be a
for
stain
him.
on his on his reputation. Either he's terrible awful at discerning quality, or
Or he
he's
was
willing to
lying.
lie for the corporation.
Yeah. Either way,
Which
All
one
the
is it?
rad.
It's one of them, or both, or it can't be both. One of them, one or the other.
The Authority, written by Warren Ellis and Mark Miller, I think, were some of the best comics of their day. The Authority is a gritty Justice League compromise to Snyder fans. Well, that's the thing. It doesn't matter in terms of a strategy how good the source is. It could be incredible. It's just a matter
It could
of,
be
like,
great and then get ruined in adaptation.
well, so
and even when
there's
you
that,
add
but
on
there's
top
also
of
just
that,
give it a better chance by launching it as part of a healthy, encouraging universe, not...
if Ant-Man was the first MCU film, probably wouldn't have made as much money as it did. This is the reality: is that the recognition, it like Guardians of the Galaxy is an anomaly and should probably be treated as such. It's like you need to actually excel to have like a good chance of essentially breaking through, because most people didn't know who the Guardians of the Galaxy were before that. And now everybody kind of knows who the Guardians of the Galaxy are. I don't see the same thing happening again for the Authority, who, if anything, are more obscure.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's you spend $200 million on a film like that potentially, as like your second film, which I think was initially the plan, was that it was going to be number 2. I don't know, man. Seems like a bad idea, and that's assuming that it was even a good script. Which, again, James Gunn thought The Flash was good or lied about it. So, you know.
Mauler, if you named a video Unbridled Diarrhea, what movie would it be about? Rebel Moon? Glass Onion?
Rebel Moon is unbridled diarrhea. There's no unbridled
2.
because no one ever told him no. He never had that little voice in his head. He never had the man in the chariot. He didn't have that voice that said, "Yeah, don't
But why,
spit too
Zach?
much."
But why?
Why, Zach? Why? So very unbridled. Yes, that's a good answer. And diarrhea because of its quality. It's shit.
It's consistency.
And
why
it's a wee bit nutty.
Why are you hyping this bad stuff from your predecessors, liar? To why are you so candid about these problems, guys? Maybe it's just bad marketing. I think we answered this one during the stream because it's just related to all the topics.
You don't have to say anything. You don't have to tell everybody, oh yeah, the Authority, it's gone shit. We couldn't find a director or anything. You don't have to say that.
No.
Like the idea that the only option is to lie about it. You just cannot say anything about these projects. Just like, oh, what's happening with Booster Gold? Oh, working on it. Like that's it. The idea that it's a dichotomy between you gotta lie about how well it's going and how great it is, or you have to just say that it's going fucking horribly.
You know how horrifically awful the few episodes that saw of the new Doctor Who season was?
Yes.
So last year I think they filmed season 1 and 2 of the new series with Ncuti Gatwa together. And so technically they've been in the can for a while. And
Right.
season 1 came out and it boosted at the beginning with David Tennant, Russell T Davies' return, but it was all so catastrophically awful that many fans had turned on it who were actually in favor even of the current sort of route. So season 2 is coming, or rather was coming out. It would have been fully out by now. And there's no word on season 3. And a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago, a while before, around about when season 1 finished, there was like Russell T Davies had announced like he's working real hard to get that season 3 approved. Not found someone to do that yet. Not having trouble finding funding. It was a bit awkward, and just information sort of died down gradually about it. And recently-ish, Ncuti announced he had like a huge role for the whole of next year, and certain sets have been auctioned off that are a part of like the whole show, and then a spin-off show that was supposed to take place in a particular big set that's all been demolished. So the show itself, I guess, would have to have a new set or just doesn't exist anymore. And the most recent thing I think Russell T Davies said was in an interview. He was asked about whether or not the show is cancelled, and I think his answer was something like, "It's not over."
Okay.
And it's just like, oh shit, it's over. Like,
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that sounds like it's over.
yeah, they absolutely annihilated it. I guess what I'm saying in relation to this is, got to be careful with what you say, even when you're lying. You got to be real fucking careful, because it just gives away all kinds of different things, and puts your content and other people in particular places when you just have no reason to. But yeah, he was not positive about it at all, and it's just crazy to think that we're close to, if not, it's already been announced that Doctor Who is done, like outright cancelled. It's been there before, for the record.
How could this have possibly happened?
But it's just it's the only one out of the huge franchises that has the potential to just be officially put on ice. Because Star Wars will probably just go on forever. Same with Star Trek, apparently.
Probably. It might go into that box with like Indiana Jones. Like maybe you'll see it in 15,
yeah, see, even
20
Indiana
years.
Jones, we know they're not going to make another one now, but they'll never like outright say Indiana Jones as an IP is, even if it is frozen, it's not quite the same. Doctor Who just kept coming out and coming out, but it will officially
it'll get a reboot in years to come once there's been enough distance between the shit and now, and they can.
Another thing Russell T Davies said is like joyfully that, you know, Doctor Who's awesome, it's doing so well, and you know what? It's been enough time. It's you can say Doctor Who is now like, think of you know, King Arthur or Robin Hood, where it's like this thing that, hey, gets picked up by different generations, different stories get told. It's this wonderful blah blah blah. It's like, who knows where it'll go next. I was like really pissed off when I heard that, because I was like, first of all, no, it's not, and secondly, that's your like cope. You're trying to say, much like how Robin Hood gets a movie, every once in a while, or King Arthur gets an interpretation every once in a while, that's what Doctor Who is doing, and it's like, no, it's a consistent TV show that releases seasons all the time, and it's gonna die because you killed it.
You fucking murdered it.
It's like one of the longest running shows of all time, and at one point was hyper popular.
Everyone knows of it.
But yeah, this is that era, so. Didn't you know James Gunn has a stipulation in his contract that he gets his meat shaft milked by all of DC every time a C-list character makes money? Well, he's definitely trying to make a bunch of C-listers work, which, best of luck. Blue Beetle and Booster Gold's whole gimmick is that they are B-list heroes who get caught up in events bigger than them, and Blue is stoic, Gold is goofy. I mean, that's...
Yep, okay.
None of this matters.
I mean,
like,
it's they need to make money.
You could have said, you know, Bimbo Jones is the guy who always is critical of Superman, but he loves Batman. You know, like, and then Rombo Repelowitz is like his awkward brother who hates all heroes except Superman. It's like, okay, none of who the fuck cares? You can do whatever you want with any character at any time. You need to choose the iconic names first to launch the DC universe. You need to give yourself the best step forward.
Yep.
Yeah, once everybody's invested, then you can make a Guardians of the Galaxy movie that people will be like, oh, hey, this is neat. I'll check that out. Oh, wow, this is really good. I like these characters, and I'm eager to see them interact with my other characters.
Back with when Phase 5 actually started, right? Sorry, Phase 4 actually started. So end of Endgame, it's like, this would be the time to recover from all the crazy huge events, a bunch of smaller budget projects, introduce a bunch of street level heroes who are dealing with the blip, as would easily be done. A bunch of them would be forced into existence. Vigilantes, all that stuff.
A soft reset in an established world.
You basically have guaranteed eyes on everything you make for the next few years. So you may as well take that advantage now. You've earned it. You know, you've done a shit ton with all these iconic characters. Now you can actually make some new ones. But nope, they did what they did.
Yep.
Feels like Gunn is trying to set up Justice League International. Who is the backup Justice League? It could work. I mean, he did it for Guardians. I don't think this is a good metric.
No, it's not. It just isn't. It's not a good.
Guardians is Phase 2, guys. Phase 2.
The end of Phase 2, close to it anyway.
Yeah. It's after 2 Avengers films that came out, you know? It's like...
Well, no, it was after one event. It was before Age of Ultron. It
was before... Why do I always remember that I've seen Guardians after Age of Ultron?
Came out after Age of
because
Ultron.
It scrambled your brain.
Oh, it might have been because I actually did see it after, but just because I didn't know if I'd be interested in it or not. I can't remember if that's what happened or not, but I always associate Guardians as after Age of Ultron.
Nope, before.
Well, close enough anyway. It's the point being
close.
you have that many events taking place before introducing a ragtag, wacky group of people that no one recognizes. Think of it as an opportunity. This 10 Star Wars movie could be called General Grievous, the G-Word Bionicles, and I'd really enjoy that. What? Like the 10th Star Wars movie.
What's the G word? What?
General Grievous, the G-Word Bionicles.
The goddamn Bionicles?
Let's bring in the Bionicles in Star Wars. That could fix it.
I mean, if they released an MCU movie called "It's the fucking Bionicles," I would go and see it. We bought Lego, therefore Bionicles movie.
What if the Starship Troopers remake is actually a Helldivers movie and the leaker was just a retard? Also, play Trails in the Sky.
Well, no, there was a Helldivers movie and there's a Starship Troopers movie, right?
Ugh.
So yeah,
I
you
have
both.
immense concern about both of them.
Of course, as you
The
should.
Helldivers movie should be extremely simple. They will fuck it up.
Yeah.
They will not understand that this is a fun, tongue-in-cheek
Maybe like
adventure
Minecraft.
action game, and they're gonna try and make it some super serious
Jack Black
not
will be
even
in
satire, but yeah, and it'll be like, oh, we're a very heady exploration of politics and government, and actually we don't. No, fuck off. You've already fucked up. You've already fucked up. But that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna think they're so clever by saying, actually, is Super Earth the bad guys? And that's what they'll do because they don't understand. It's called Super Earth. Don't take it seriously.
Another short EFAP. No such thing.
Nope.
Why care when Daredevil's coming out, you guys? Oh, Daredevil's more than out, but what a fucking great season that was.
Yeah.
And that is the final message. Thank you
Chapter.
so much. We appreciate it.
Okay.
But for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Toodle pip, cheerio. Have a good one.
See you later, everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care, and we will see you later. And thanks again.